Happy lunch hour, guys. Okay, so I bring up something interesting across the news wires this morning, and I kind of found the story somewhat fascinating. We've had all this talk about CBDC, central bank digital currency, here for months upon months. And, remember all those people saying, oh, the U.S. is going to CBDC on December 3rd. Yeah, well, it's December 8th, and guess what? I still got dollars in my wallet. Okay. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I still don't see it happening anytime soon, and by soon I mean years, if not decades. But it's still something that governments want to do. And remember, this is the way they're going to dissolve debt, pretty much what it would be. But the story came out of Nigeria. And I know everybody goes, well, big deal, it's some country in Africa, who cares? But these are test pilots that you can pretty much bet that countries all over the world are watching, especially seeing as how Nigerians seem to love Bitcoin. More than a third of the population of Nigeria, which has a population of somewhere around 100 million people, okay, owns Bitcoin in some way, shape, or form. I mean, I'm guessing it's teeny tiny amounts, but they do. 35% of the country owns some Bitcoin. The problem is when the government came out with the Naira, which we've talked about before, their money, the people basically ran away from it. Something like less than 1 in 200 people own any Naira. Why? Gee, it's Nigeria. It's somewhat of a corrupt country. Okay, think about all those Nigerian prince scams. Oh my God, but I'm dying and I need somewhere to give my $74 million, and I found you. Okay, great. All right. Bitcoin is easy. Bitcoin is kind of not trackable. I mean, when people say, oh no, you're completely anonymous, that's bullshit. You're not. Okay. But CBDC is completely trackable by whoever the issuing entity is, right? So the people in Nigeria certainly aren't embracing Bitcoin. I mean, think about all those scams you get from, Islamabad or Delhi. Do you think the phone scammers are going to start going, yeah, pay us in rupees? No, not going to happen. All right. So, this is the problem. But the governments are still going to force this, right? So what Nigeria is trying to do, and mind you, this is a roadmap. This is a test plot. I still say that's what's going on. So the government in Nigeria is now limiting the amount of money that people can take out of an ATM a day to the equivalent of about $45 a day. Now, all right, fine, but I don't know if they have to pay these $4 ATM fees or whatever would be, but who knows. But so they're limited. And they are also, limiting everything from individuals to businesses to how much you can write a check for, to all this sort of stuff. Okay. So, they're trying to phase out currency. All right. And mind you, the ridiculous exchange rate. What is it? 1,000 Naira is worth something like $2. Okay, so they want to phase out all these big bills. What's considered a big bill? 1,000, that's $2, big effing deal. Okay, but they're going to limit the amount of money people can take out of the bank, cash. But you can take out, you can have access to all the Naira you want. Do you see where this is going? They don't want people to spend cash. They don't want people to have cash. This goes into why me and every other prepper says stockpile cash. Because unless you want to be tracked in everything you do, you're going to have to pay cash. Here's the other thing that is real interesting about this, okay? How many people don't have a bank account? And in Nigeria, it's something like 45% of the people or somewhere thereabouts don't have a bank account. And you think that's a lot. It is. You know how many people in the United States don't have a bank account? 7.1% of the population. That number is actually going up. Okay. In 2016 or 2015, I'm sorry, it was 6.5%. So there's more and more people who don't have bank accounts. Why? Because everything they do is in cash. And a lot of times that'll be because of the income. Gee, they get paid under the table, okay, or however, or the people have such lousy credit that the bank won't give them a bank account. Okay, those are your two main reasons. But 7.1% of the American population does not have a bank account. Okay, that's a lot. You're talking somewhere, what, 28 million people? Okay, so are we going to freeze those 28 million people out of the U.S. economy? And you start thinking about how many 28 million is. That's 3 New York cities. Okay. Yeah, this is why it's so important to have cash put away. Because I'm going to pose something else to you. With everything that's going on in our economy right now, a lot of people are shopping in alternative places, roadside fruit stands, garage sales, anything like that. Do you really think when you drive past that guy who's selling peaches out of the back of his truck on the side of the road is going to take e-dollars? No. He's going to want something. He doesn't want it tracked either. Okay. He's going to want something that is physical. Then you get to the other part. Once you start having, we don't have to talk about I'm sorry, Mr. Pinball, you've bought your 3 apples this week. You're not allowed anymore. But what we're also talking about is when you get into price caps, okay, kind of like what they were talking about with Russian oil. Once we have a central bank digital currency, the government can now determine what everything costs. They can tell the store, no, I'm sorry, you can't get more than 25 cents an apple, or whatever it would be. That's all we're going to allow you to charge. CBDC will completely destroy capitalism, cut it off at its knees. End of story. The government will be able to determine prices. The government will be able to tell you how much you can buy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you will have no control whatsoever of your money. Remember, your money can expire. If you don't spend this within 6 months, it's no longer any good. How do you save money? Simple as that. I'm sorry, you are now required to work until the day they put you in a casket, because otherwise you have no income. This is why CBDC won't work. This is a lot of the reasons why the Nigerians are saying no. They don't want to be tracked. They don't want to be told what to do. And we're not talking about some free country here. All right. But the governments are going to do whatever they can to force you to use it. And yes, there is no doubt whatsoever if they roll this out, we are all going to be forced to use it in some way, shape, or form. You're still going to have to pay your income tax. Guarantee the government's going to take it on CBDC, or your property tax or whatever. And just like a lot of you do now, you only keep enough in the bank to pay your bills. That's exactly what's going to happen in a scenario when the government decides that this is going to be rolled out. The US dollar, the paper, the greenback that we have, may no longer be backed by the full faith and credit of the United States, which means there's nothing backing it, but it's still going to be the medium. If you buy something from me and I want dollars because I want to buy eggs from somebody else and they want dollars, again, this goes back to something is only is what somebody else will give you for it. If the population of a country does not accept CBDC as having any value, it does not have any value. The government can't wave a magic wand and say all of a sudden this is worth something. No, it's not. Something is only worth what somebody else will give you for it. Period. If somebody will give me a dozen eggs for 3 greenbacks, or 6 now, okay, then those dozen eggs are worth 3 greenbacks. But if nobody will give that seller 3 greenbacks for it, the eggs aren't worth that. It's as simple as that. So, getting down into this, we're seeing already on a smaller scale, only 100 million people, a third of the size of the United States, the absolute failure of rolling out CBDC and the government trying to strong arm the population into doing it. And the population will probably say, go fly a kite. And it'll eventually fail. It just costs a lot of money to figure out what we're telling you already. But this is where I go back to it. And we've talked many times, many people have. You need to stock cash in your house. Yes, you're going to have a bank account, whatever it would be, because you still got to pay the electric bill or do whatever right now. But for all those of you that are doing I only keep enough money in the bank to pay my bills, you're doing it right. The rest of the people who are trusting the banks, there's going to be a day when exactly this situation happens, and the government's going to tell the banks, you can't let anybody take out more than $45 a day out of their bank account. When that day comes and you're going, crap, I should have saved money. Now you can do it at $45 a day. Okay, yippee. You can get what, $300 a week, thereabouts? $300 a week for a family of 4 right now. Won't buy groceries. How are you going to pay your other bills? Start putting that cash back. That's a prep. I don't care if it's throw a $5 bill in the mattress every week, if that's all you can afford. If that's all you can afford, start your own savings account. Yes, you're losing money to inflation versus what the bank's paying you. But the bank's paying you what, 0.1% right now? You ain't losing that much. The safety is worth that nickel that you're going to make every year in interest. It's just something to pay attention to, guys, because this stuff is all going on and being tried in places around the world. You know it's coming here. And you know Jerome Powell and Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden are watching going, I wonder how this is going to work. Let's let them do it. We'll figure it out. And when they see, it's failing. Okay, how can we strong arm the people into doing what we want so we control everything? Remember, guys, this is all about everything. Everything that's going on right now is about money and power, control. That is it. There's nothing else. Articles today about Joe being sold out to the Chinese and to the Russians. Gee, you finally figured that one out? We've been telling you that for 2 years. Okay. The story today on Biden trading the merchant of death, one of Russia's biggest arms dealers, for a basketball player. Ooh, there's a fair trade. Don't make Joe the GM of any sports team anytime soon, or the GM of any company, or anything, or the country of the United States. He gets screwed in deals. Let's leave a Marine over there, but let's bring back the basketball player. This is all about power, guys. For everybody in the U.S., Canada, France, Germany, England, Russia, China, Japan, whatever it is. It's all about their power at your expense. You need to do what you can now to take that power away from them. They can roll out that CBDC all they want. And let's make the United States just like Nigeria, where 1 in 200 of us say okay, and the other 199 say, bite me, I'm using greenbacks. Pinball out.